Well, folks, we're back out at the building for, well, kind of a bittersweet day today. We're laying a pretty well-known vehicle to rest, and we're opening a new chapter for a new one to be born. So that's very exciting. Let me just show you the one that's being put down, and maybe we'll get some taps playing in the background for this. Turns out you can fit an entire GMT 400 OBS Chevy in an 8-foot utility trailer. Body, that is. Yeah, that's the former Burnout legend known as the race unit, Burning Right, whatever you guys want to call it. Pretty well-known Burnout trucks, done some burnouts at some pretty cool places in the past. But it's kind of time to just do something different. So the body had to go. We've got another body that is going to be, well, it's going to be taking its place. So let's talk about that real quick. So ever since I was at the 2.4 hours of Le Mullets a few months ago and saw those prized, what was it, Monte Carlo and a Camaro on a 4-wheel drive chassis, I've really wanted to do that. And yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. So we're taking Burning Right's frame, race unit's frame, and we're putting a car body on it. Why? Because I wanted to do that, and I think it's going to be cool. So this is going to be a pretty unique Burnout vehicle, and also just general 4-wheel drive, do whatever vehicle. We can do whatever we want with this thing. So let's go take a look at that real quick, and I'll kind of explain why this car was chosen for that. Might not make a lot of sense, but at first, but I think it will. It's going to be cool. Yeah. What you're looking at here, guys. 2004 Cadillac Deville. I don't remember the last time I saw a Cadillac Burnout vehicle. It's been a while, probably. But yeah, we're taking this car, the body, we're going to strip the rear suspension out, we're going to strip the front cradle out of it, and we're going to take the body and put it on that frame right there with that drivetrain. We'll talk about that drivetrain in a minute, but let me explain why we chose this car. So this DeVille, you know, you might say, it's a pretty nice car. Why are you just chopping it up to put it on some junk frame Burnout vehicle? Well, these things, I mean, they're nice cars, but they've got the old North Star in them. Head gaskets are out on this one. And the body actually isn't that great on there. Someone parked it by sound on the other side, so she's a little banged up. But the interior of this thing, very nice. And this thing was only a few $100. So a few $100 to get a pretty decent body. Not perfect. But, you know, you need a nice interior in a Burnout car. Let's take a look at that real quick. Oh yeah, leather bench. You don't see that stuff these days anymore. So we're just gonna, yeah, the interior is pretty much gonna stay the same, and it's gonna have room for, well, 6 people if we want to. So that'll be cool. Yeah, it's a car. So the plan is that, let me hop in here real quick. These seats are so comfortable. So plan is on this deal, leave the interior pretty much as factory as can be. I mean, we're not going to have creature comforts like heat and air conditioning. Might still have a radio, I don't know. But we're going to be taking a lot of the stuff that was in Burning Right, pretty much everything, and applying it to this vehicle. So this is going to be 4-wheel drive. This bench is nice because we can mount the four-wheel drive shifter for the transfer case on the floor, and we'll be putting our nice Holley 7-inch dash in a custom bezel in this thing. Get all of our good datas and stuff that we're going to need. And on the inside, I mean, it's pretty much just going to look like run-of-the-mill Cadillac. On the outside, though, it's going to look something special, and it's going to sound something special, too. Let's go talk about the frame and the actual setup that was in the race unit / burn and write, because I never really talked about that before, and a lot of you guys had questions on that. And it was a proven combination that really worked, and one that I would suggest if you guys wanted to build a burnout vehicle. So let's go over there and talk about it. Also, I'm running on like 2 hours of sleep right now, so I kind of dozed off in this seat. It's pretty comfortable, but we got to get going to that frame. So let's talk about this thing. So this truck was a 1990 K2500. It's got a Dana 70 in it, spool, that worked good. And up here, well, let's not start at the front, but let's talk about this engine. So this engine is a champ. This whole setup worked so good in any sort of burnout situation there was. So this is a aluminum 5.3 liter, it's called L33. It's got a Dr. Tune-em-all cam in it. Highly recommend talking to that guy if you guys need a camshaft for your LS application. Guy's a wizard. This has some ring gap in it, so pulled the pistons and rods out of it, opened up the rings, and, you know, some of them I got carried away with. There are some rings in this engine where 39 thousandths feeler gauge was, well, it didn't drag. I'll just leave it at that. But outside of that, the engine is pretty much stock. I mean, it has ARP head bolts in it, stock 5.3 head gaskets. It's got the Holley high ram, the Holley NOS nitrous plate on there for the high ram, FIC injectors. This was on E85. Probably will change that up. This was all ran by Holley Terminator X, standalone setup in there, tuned by the wizard, pro tuner, good pal Matt Sanford. He had this thing set up to where it pulls timing by time. So when the burnout would start, I'd have like a nitrous arm switch on there. Once the nitrous arm switch was flipped, it started a counter, and then every 10 seconds it would pull a degree of timing out of it. So if any of you guys saw this thing do a burnout, you would have known it started, you know, lighting the candles, popping and banging. Well, that's because the timing was being retarded as the burnout went on. So as the tires, you know, heated up and got close to popping, didn't really need as much power, and we were on the bottle if we needed it. So all the nitrous was set up through the Holley too, so on a 250 shot, you know, up until rev limiter, then it cut off obviously, but yeah, it was a beast. This thing made, I think, 518 to the tires on a 250 shot, so a lot of drivetrain loss there, so it's pretty impressive, worked good. But yeah, we're just going to be taking this whole setup and putting that Cadillac body on top of it. So I am going to need your guys' help and some suggestions for how to accomplish that. I mean, we're obviously going to need to build some custom mounts to put the body on this. And I want it to look good. I don't want it to look cobbled. You know, it's going to look weird, obviously, but I want it to look nice. So we did measure the wheelbases. This frame has 20 more inches of wheelbase than that car does. So trying to figure out where we can take some frame out that makes the most sense for what we're going to be doing to, you know, make the wheelbase right for the car. Oh, and also, be cool radiator in this thing. This thing never got over 195 degrees when doing a burnout. Never. This is a pro setup. You guys need a radiator, go check out Be Cool. Those are great guys over there. Always have supported me. Run one of their radiators in the Crown Vic. That thing runs cool all the time. Great people. Also, any good burnout vehicle or specifically designed burnout vehicle, you need good coolers. Talked about the radiator, but these are like Earl's fan modules for the transmission and the engine oil. These are imperative for keeping the engine and trans alive in a burnout situation. Yeah, you need good oil coolers. So the engine oil cooler has 2 fans. Transmission has a single fan in it. I never really monitored temps of these things, but also, well, I can't say it about the trans. I don't think the trans failed because of a fluid related or fluid temperature related issue, and then the engines just always worked really well. So it's always been clean. And yes, the plan is to use the fender exit headers on this. They're probably going to need some modification, but that is the plan, to use those. Also, I'm going to have to do some wiring repairs or cleaning up, as this thing caught on fire the last time it was out doing a burnout. So we'll get that fixed, but the transmission also needs to be rebuilt. This is a 2-speed 400, 2-speed not by choice. It decided it was going to be a 2-speed by itself, so that's got to come out. Transfer case, might need to do something with that. That had been notorious for popping out of gear. I don't even know what transfer case that is. Yeah, too much mud on there. If you guys know about why that thing might pop out of gear, maybe it was bad body mounts. I don't know, but if there's any known issues with that transfer case, please let me know so I can address that. But I mean, everything else, I mean, this is, the truck was, it drove in here, so it's going to be a big project, but I don't think it's going to be too crazy. The goal is to have this whole thing done for Holly LS Fest East, which is in September, and go do a burnout down there, because I did that last year, had a great time, a lot of cool people down there, met some of you guys, which I really appreciate. So I'd like to have this down there for that, and actually be done sooner before that, but I want this at that event, so I'm going to try and get that done. So I'm calling this project the Cadillac, not Cadillac, Cadillac. Why? Because it's badass, obviously. But I am going to need your guys' help on this one. So give me some suggestions or examples, if you have them, of clean ways to do this. We're kind of, at the beginning stages of this. So let me know how you guys would go about doing this, and what specific parts of this build do you want to see on video. Obviously can't film everything, but I want to show you guys, the stuff that you guys are going to find exciting and cool. So let me know that. And a lot of cool stuff's coming up. So going to be doing some traveling the next couple weeks. Really excited for that. The Rex 3 is getting a bunch of cool stuff here pretty soon. Just a ton of cool projects now that the weather's starting to hopefully break up here in Michigan. So appreciate your guys' support in this matter, and see you back here in a couple days.